Kinds of quadrilaterals. Kinds of quadrilaterals: trapezium, kite, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, and square. Kinds of quadrilaterals. There are some quadrilaterals like trapezium, kite, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, and square, which have their own properties and are known with their own names. Let us see each one of them one by one. Trapezium. Trapezium is a type of quadrilateral. What is the property you can see in this quadrilateral? This quadrilateral has two parallel lines. A quadrilateral having a pair of parallel lines is known as a trapezium. Kite. Have you seen the kite flying in the sky? This shape of quadrilateral is known as kites. Kite has two properties. One is a kite has four sides, and other is there are exactly two distinct consecutive pairs of sides of equal length. Parallelogram. One and only one important property determine parallelogram is its opposite sides are parallel. Therefore, we can also conclude that the lengths of opposite sides of parallelogram are always the same. Parallelogram has also some properties related with its opposite angles. Now look at the opposite angles of this parallelogram. The measure of angle D is 60 degrees and B is its opposite angle. The measure of angle of B is also 60 degrees. By keeping the lines parallel, if we try to change the angle of D, the measure of angle B also changes respectively. From this, we can conclude that parallelogram has opposite angles always of the equal measure. Now again, consider this angle D of the parallelogram. This is an angle of measure 75 degrees. Now extend this line. We get an angle which is in linear with angle D. I think you all know that the sum of angles in a linear pair is 180 degrees. Therefore, this angle will be 180 degrees minus 75 degrees is equal to 105 degrees. Now observe here, segment AD and segment BC are parallel, which are intersected by transversal DC. Therefore, angle C will be equal to this angle. That is, measure of angle C will also be 105 degrees. From this, we can say that the adjacent angles D and C in a parallelogram are supplementary. It means the sum of adjacent angles of a quadrilateral is 180 degrees. Diagonal of parallelogram. The line segment joining two opposite vertices of parallelogram is called a diagonal of parallelogram. Parallelogram has two diagonals of the same or different length bisecting each other. Rhombus. We already have seen the kite. Rhombus is similar to the kite. The difference between the two is rhombus has all the sides of equal length. Now, if we try to draw diagonals of rhombus and kite, we find that diagonals of rhombus and kite intersect perpendicular, but diagonals of rhombus bisect each other. Since the opposite sides of a rhombus have the same length, it is also a parallelogram. So, a rhombus has all the properties of a parallelogram and also that of a kite. Rectangle. This is a parallelogram. Now if you make all the angles of this parallelogram 90 degrees, the changed figure terms as a rectangle. Rectangle has all the angles right-angled and opposite sides parallel to each other. In a parallelogram, the diagonals can be of different lengths, but the rectangle has diagonals of equal length and bisecting one another. Therefore, rectangle has each angle right-angled and diagonals of equal length. Square. We will do one thing with this rectangle. Just we will press this rectangle in such a way that its all sides become of equal length. Now it is a square. Square has all the angles right-angled and all the sides of the equal length. The diagonals of square have equal length and bisect each other at right angles. That is all about this topic, students. Let us summarize what we have learned in this topic.